Alright, so before we start mosaicing our mandala, we want to seal the wood. This helps to protect it. So we can use our same glue that we are going to use to glue the tiles on. I'm just going to put a little bit in here, so it's basically half and half that I usually use. So about, yeah, 50-50 water. So just a little bit of water in there. Mix it up. So we're just going to do one coat, and once it's dry we'll start mosaicing, but make sure you do the underside when you have finished your mosaic. Okay, so we'll just paint it on. And we also want to get down the sides. So if you've got a lazy Susan to work on, like this one here, it actually makes it a little bit easier. And you can just spin it around. Great to work on too when you're gluing your tiles. And then just the sides. Right, so get this finished and we'll see you soon. So yeah, let's get started. We've sealed our board, so we're ready to go. If you bought these as a kit set, you'll find you would have received your kit set and you'll have your bags with little labels on the front, which will tell you a code which will relate to where they need to go. Right, so PVA glue is what we're using today. This should be in your kit if you've got it. This is non-toxic. I just suggest getting a Applewee paintbrush to work with. So just putting a small amount of glue on at a time. So just pat it down so that your tiles don't float on top of the glue. So I'm just staying on the inside of this line, okay? So on the inside of this line. So we're going to go 3 down there, and then what we're going to do now is we're going to work from here back upwards. So this one down here, as you can see, it's going to need an angle cut. So we're basically just going to cut one of these diagonally. And to achieve a good cut, make sure you have your cutter in the centre of your tile. We've also included a few extra tiles just in case you do have a bad cut, okay? Now this one is actually going to come a little bit over this line here, but that doesn't matter, okay? As long as we're on the inside of this line is more important. Right, so we'll put our next one down, staying on the inside of this line. And I'm going to put another one here, and you'll see we need to cut 1 1/2 to fit in there. So just make sure that's all nice and straight. And as I said, on the inside of this line here. So pick one up, we're just going to cut it in half. Sometimes it's handy to cut opposite the lines, just makes it easier when you're cutting to get a clean cut. That's what we want, so that can go on the other side. So that's basically our first row. It's the same thing, we will do the same on the other side. We're going to cut a triangle one for here, we're going to count 2 tiles up, put this half one there, and then another 1, 2, 3. So this I was saying about counting the tiles so they are the same on opposite sides. Are you happy with that one? Okay. Next step, we're going to pop 2 white Smarties. So pat the glue down. You want to make sure that you stay within that circle. So you don't want to go over, just push down. I think these ones are 1 plain white, and then you have 1 plain iridized. So it's just 1 plain white, 1 plain iridized, 1 plain white all the way around. So just make sure you don't go outside the lines on these. Okay. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to outline these here with a white crystal half cut tile. So it's these ones here. cut in half, and they're going to go right around here. And also we need to pop in our little dots. So these are going to have our little blue Smarties. So just smear your glue. And that's these gorgeous little iridized blue ones that you'll have in your pack. So just make sure that they don't go beyond this line. And always just double check your tiles, because sometimes they can just move around a little bit until they dry. Take our crystal tiles, we'll cut these in half. So same thing again in the center. Sometimes it's quite a good idea even to put a little patch of glue down on a bit of paper. And that way you can just work from there. Just for these smaller areas to cover. Okay, and around here we are going to put 4 half tiles. So a little bit of space between them. Right, and same on the other side. Right, now we'll just make sure we straighten them up. Hope you just check your tiles haven't moved again. It's perfect. So our next row in, we're going to have plain white crystal around here. So these are going to be kept whole. Count how many you have down this side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I want to get 10 in there. So just move them a little bit closer. Right, so these are our gorgeous mirror circles. So all we're going to do with these is just arrange them the best we can fit them. We can cut a few if we like into the background here. So some you might want to cut. Just take a little bit off here and there. Some you can even cut in half. That's our first little one done. So this one here, you're just going to repeat round all of your board. Right, so now we've finished this one here, we are going to cut up a Holodemur Squares. So these are a 10mm mirror square tile. So we're going to use these quite a lot in this project, so it's a good idea to even sit down, give yourself 10 minutes and cut a whole lot up just to get you started. So same thing again, put them in the centre of your cutter, you can see that, and just slice them down. So as I said, it's quite a good idea to sit down and just do a whole lot of these. It's much easier to put the glue down and have them already there to stick down. So these ones are going along this, in between this line here. So they're basically going to just outline our little spike that we've got. Alright, we're ready to work on our next spike, which is going to be this one here. So our first tile is going to be one of our beautiful cosmic ones. So same thing again, staying inside this line here. And our next tile is going to be our little beautiful ice blue Muranos. These ones here. So should get 3 down there nicely. So they are a little bit smaller than this one. So I'm just going to run some mirror tiles up to here just so we can start to outline this. Same thing, just check they haven't moved. Alright, and our inside one here is going to be our white crystal. And don't worry too much about the line here, we're going to go over that a little bit. Okay, so now we've got our little plain blue Smartie we're going to pop here. Going to arrange our little silver ceramic petals. So we've got a medium one and there's a smaller shape one. Just check these little rascals don't move. Just go back and have a fiddle around with them. Perfect. Right, so that is our little flower we've got there. So we're also now going to fill in the background of that. I've got some beautiful sky blue stained glass. These are 10mm tiles. So with these, I'm just going to cut them diagonally. So we're roughly going to get a triangle shape. You can have some straight ones if you want. So it's just any sort of shape. It's just to fill in that space. Okay. When you are cutting, make sure you have your hand on the very end of your tool. It's just easy for cutting. Wheels facing in. Also with your cutters that you get if you have got a Kitset, is over time you can actually turn the wheels. So as you can see, I've got black marker pen here. So I've used this area of the blade. I've loosened it off with an Allen key and I've turned them. And I've got a fresh start here. So they usually last, depending on how much mosaicing you do, but they can last up to 2 months but you'll know when they don't cut as clean, you know that you'll need to move them. So they should last you for quite a while. Right, so lots of odd little shapes there. So now I'm just going to fill in this area. Best to fit, you can always trim them if you need to. Okay, so now we've outlined this one here with mirror. We're going to outline these ones here. So let's It's always good having a lot of mirror cut up because this one has a lot of mirror in it. So preparation's the key. And you won't have to keep stopping and starting like I am. So if you do like the closer gaps with the mirrors, you can always trim them if you want to, but these look fine. And we've got some white vitreous and iridizing here also. So let's spread the glue around. Right, so these are your vitreous tiles. So we're going to cut one in half. So as I said, cut opposite the ridges. A little bit of a gap between each one, and I'm going to arrange 4 iridized white ones. These are the iridized white ones. These are absolutely beautiful. Gosh, that's glue all over my hands. Dirty paws. Anyway, so just pop them in best to fit. They don't have to be perfectly straight. We just want to have them roughly in a diamond shape. So if you get them in, and then you can sort of wiggle them around, which I'm probably happy with that. And another 4 up here. Right, so that is basically the 3 main ones that you'll be doing right around your board. So we'll have a closer look. There you go. Okay, so now we're going to do our border. So basically from here to here, so this area, there to here, will take 9 tiles. So that's going to give you even spacing. So there to there. So we are doing a beautiful teal blue border. So just lay out your 9. So that's 9. Right, so we'll put those down. Same thing again. Bit of glue, flatten your glue down so your tiles don't move around. Start from the very point here. So I usually put 2 down, 2 this way, and then so on going in. Right, last but not least, we're going to fill in this area here, this here. So you can either stop there, carry on filling these in around your mandala, but I'm just going to show you this bit here so you know what it looks like, and then you can just continue right around the board. So these are your 3 main points that you'll be doing. So this one here, I'm just going to fill in with mirror. So this is basically this one replicated over here. So what you want to do is just lay these down. You may have to pull them out a wee bit away from the mirror, but you want to have these 2 meeting point to point. So there is a little bit of a gap here, but as I said, that's going to have your white grout in there. So as long as these two are point to point. Then one goes here, another one there, another one should fit nicely in there. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 triangles. So take your blue glass, same thing again, cut diagonally. You should get some cuts like that. As I said, we'll have a few little spares in your kit set if you bought it as a kit set, just in case you have a few disastrous cuts. So in the centre of your tile, and just clean cutting, hand on the back of your cutters, and then just cut down. So just sort of wiggle if you need to adjust them. Just a little tiny wriggle. Perfect. You might get one you might need to cut. Oh no, we'll just adjust this one here. Move that down a wee bit. As I said, as long as these 2 points meet up. So just wiggle those in there. Alright. And that is what you want to do. So as I said, all you are doing is replicating this here on all your other ones here. Right, so we'll continue on doing those and we'll get back to you after you've finished and we'll do the centre. Right, get to it. Right, welcome back. Now we've just started doing around the inside of our little flower here. So these are just your iridized white tiles. So if you've received the kit set, you'll have a little bag that's marked with a center bag on it. So all the tiles for your center will be contained in that bag. So I pop my glue down, just leaving a small space just to arrange your little tiles. Okay, so around here we're going to cut our mirror circles in half. That's these ones here. Same thing again, put your tile in the centre, squeeze down. Same thing again. Luckily we had prepared some earlier, as I was thinking it would be a really good idea. Okay, and a bit of glue. Okay, perfect. So we're going to put a nice centre, which we think is roughly the centre. We can always adjust it. So we've got a white iridized tile. Now these ones here are going to go in every second groove. So there's one there. You can always lay this out first because you may need to wriggle around a wee bit. So every second groove. Our little medium silver petals in here. So same thing again, just put a little dollop of glue in each one. So start back from here, I'm just going to place it down. Continue on filling it with these beautiful petals. Move them around if you need to a little bit, but it looks pretty good. So now we're going to grout our mandala. I've got the white grout in a plastic container. We need gloves for the mixing, just a mask, which we're probably all very familiar with, just for when you're mixing the grout. Once it's wet, it'll be fine. Right, so we'll just make a well in the middle. And I'll just add a few drops of water at a time. Maybe more than a few drops. Just enough to start your mixing process. So you want to achieve the consistency of a thick toothpaste mix. So by doing a small amount of water at a time, you don't run the risk of over mixing it. So this is the consistency we want to achieve. So that there is a really good consistency. I'm going to get a soft plastic container. I want to cut a little spatula, just that will help spread our grout round. Right, and gloves is essential. After we let it sit for about 5 minutes, just give it a re-stir. Now we're ready to start our grouting. Right, so we just basically want to move it around, probably work on half the section at a time. So it's quite good, this handy plastic spatula. It just helps to really move the grout. You can actually push it in as you go. Just take it to the edge, but don't worry about doing the edges just yet. We'll do that at the very end. So the idea is just to fill in all the gaps. You just want to make sure you go around the edging, you can see there, but we want to fill the gaps under here. Now just a warning about using white grout with our laser cut boards is when you do rub your grout in the crease like this here, which I'll be going around and doing this, but be very careful when you are cleaning up, always clean the side last, because what happens if you rub quite hard when you are cleaning it off, you can take some of the black off the side, okay? And if you're going to use your same rag that you've cleaned the side to wipe the top, you're going to get dirty grout. Alrighty, so just always do the sides last and clean off last. So now I'm just going around the sides to make sure that all the grout is gone in the side. So I'm just getting this between the tile and the board. I'm not necessarily doing the whole side of the board, it's just that gap. So go right around the whole board. And then what we're going to do, we will check for gaps. So we'll go over just with our finger gently and just check that all the gaps are filled. And then we will let it sit for about 5 to 10 minutes. So never put your mosaic in the sun to dry. Okay, this should always be done in the shade. So now I'm just going to finger through here slowly because there's some different thicknesses of tiles. So if we just get that excess off, what we will do when we are cleaning up is we will get a Q-tip or a cotton bud, whatever you want to call it, to really get in there and fine tune those. But this is just taking off that excess grout, and generally around the petals, because the petals are 5mm thickness. The little Smarties are 5, but some of the glass is 4, and then the stained glass is 3mm thicknesses. So it's just about taking your time when you're doing the cleaning. So we'll just clean off the excess that we need to. Alright, so now it's powdering off quite nicely. This is a good indication when you need to take it off. So I only use a couple of drops of water. I don't put too much on. If you have too wet a cloth, this is what I find, everyone is different. I find it can drag out your grout. So tidy grouting, a few drops of water, and you should be fine. Circular motion, going around and around. It's just enough moisture on my cloth just to take that surface grout off. As I said, that's the importance of doing tidy grout and just getting the excess grout off before you let it sit. Right, and we're going to get a Q-tip to get into here to get this excess grout off. Right, so just continue around doing the whole project, the circular motion, and then we'll go back and fine tune these areas here. Right, so now we've got a lot of the surface grout off. We're just going to put a little bit of water on our Q-tip, and now we're just going to fish out these ones here. So just take away the excess grout and polish it up. Dry Q-tip. You can use the Q-tip anywhere there's a bit of a build-up of grout with a dry cloth. This will just take off any haze that you get from the grout. Also, good idea is to let it sit for 24 hours, and tomorrow I will get a cloth, a wet cloth wrung out in warm soapy water, wrung out, and I'm just going to go over it again to give it a final clean, and it's ready to hang once I've painted it and put the hook on. But yeah, so that is your new mandala. It looks stunning.